So, it's currently like 7:20 a.m. I'm in Tennessee, and it's like 3 degrees outside. It's really cold. It's way too cold for my taste, but I just heated myself up some waffles, and I want to eat them, but the freaking syrup bottle's frozen shut. So, that's my dilemma this morning. It's very cold. Welcome to Tennessee, the volunteer state. After dealing with some pretty brutal cold for a few days, I headed to my first Tennessee destination, a strangely named place called Pigeon Forge. My first morning in Pigeon Forge, I noticed some signs that it had hailed briefly during the night. This really surprised me since it didn't wake me up. Neat, but I hope I don't see more hail during my travels. There was an insane number of people here. Pigeon Forge is this really long road with tons of interesting buildings and attractions on either side. Kind of like a more family-friendly Vegas strip. I'm surprised I've never heard of this place considering just how much there is here and how cool a lot of it is. There's so much to do here. I'd love to come back someday and spend a weekend seeing the various museums and shows. Looks fun. After walking around for quite a while, I found this Jurassic Jungle Boat ride. This seemed quick and affordable, so I decided to check it out. The ride is a lot more scary than I imagined. I was in a boat with several little kids, so I got to enjoy the sounds of them being traumatized for the entirety of the 10-minute ride. I thought it was hilarious. But soon enough, it was over, and it was on to the next place I wanted to check out. There's a spot that's just called The Island, which was cool. It's pretty much a small amusement park. Lots of shops, small rides, and attractions. It was a lot of fun just to walk around and explore. Pigeon Forge is really cool. An interesting start to my time in Tennessee. Immediately south of Pigeon Forge is the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Again, there was a lot of people here. This must be a big tourist and vacation destination. Much more active than the other parks I've been to so far. I started with this Gatlinburg Trail. I particularly liked this river with ice along it. Just a very nice area. A pretty basic hike. Eventually I left this area and headed off to find a place called Laurel Falls. And as promised, I found the falls. It's hard exploring in these national parks because there's just so many trails you could choose. I only ever really get a taste of what they have to offer. I liked the Smoky Mountains a lot from what I was able to see in a day. Leaving the eastern corner of Tennessee, I headed down to Chattanooga. I had two things in mind here. First was seeing this place called Ruby Falls. Once I got there though, it turned out I would need to come back the next day to see the falls, which were underground. I've seen several caves on my trip so far, so I decided I didn't care to do that. The other thing I wanted to check out was called Lookout Mountain. It's supposed to be this cool mountain that has a good view from the top of it, but this is what it looked like the day I was there. A fun drive, but I couldn't really see anything. After this, I just moved on to Nashville. Now in Nashville, my first stop was to check out the state capitol building. Tennessee's capitol building was different. It didn't quite look like any of the other ones that I've seen so far. Still cool to me though. So, I've tried now all of the doors around the building, but seems like it's not open, so I guess I'll just walk around the grounds for a little bit and see what I can see. It's kind of disappointing the building's closed, but it is nice out. Yeah, it's a cool looking, different, older Capitol building it seems like, so from what I can see just looking through, it looks kind of cool on the inside. It's a bummer that it seems like it's closed. Yeah, oh well. After some time at the Capitol, I headed off to see something weird I saw online. There's a full-scale replica of the Parthenon in Nashville. Apparently it was built for some kind of event, and then the city just decided to keep it rather than tear it down. This whole park is pretty cool. Looks like a fun place. Next, I went to this Adventure Science Center. This place had a lot of space stuff, which was cool. I like the exhibits a lot. Behold the most lifelike dinosaur animatronic ever conceived by man. I've liked every science museum I've gone to on my trip. Always a good time. Next in Nashville, I stopped at the Andrew Jackson Hermitage. Andrew Jackson was a lawyer, general, and the 7th president. He has a long list of military victories and accomplishments. He's also the guy on the $20 bill. Andrew Jackson had 2 older brothers, both of whom died in the Revolutionary War. His father died before he was born, and his mother died when he was 15. At which point he had no remaining immediate family. Also, his wife died only a few months before Andrew Jackson took office as president. I think it's kind of cool how someone who had such a brutal hand in life managed to rise to such prominence and fame. Andrew Jackson was seen as the quintessential populist, promoting faith in the wisdom of the ordinary citizen while denouncing social and political elitists. But he was also responsible for the Indian Removal Act of 1830, and thus the infamous Trail of Tears. That's the interesting thing about history. There's always the good with the bad, and also the bad with the good. Nothing is simply black and white, all good or all bad. An easy way to tell that you're being propagandized to is when someone tries to convince you that something is entirely good or entirely bad with no nuance. Odds are you're being tricked. History's complicated. I really enjoyed my time here. I love American history. I also got a good show on my way out. Lastly, I spent New Year's in Nashville. I wanted to record a good amount of it to put here, but they wouldn't let me bring my camera in. So I guess this is all I can show you. Oh well. A bit south of Nashville is the Jack Daniel's Distillery in Lynchburg. I really enjoyed all the distilleries I went to in Kentucky, so I was glad I found another one I could visit in Tennessee. And, yep, it was another distillery. You see the facility, hear the history, and then the fun part, the tasting. Another fun distillery. It's fun knowing where each of these big brands are located to me. It was pouring rain by the time I was ready to leave. There wasn't just rain though. I love thunder and lightning. There's something so imposing and magical about it to me. As I left Nashville, I headed west towards my next state. My last stop in Tennessee would be Memphis, which is right on the border. At some point, I don't remember when, I stopped and got some pizza. It was pretty darn good. Exactly the kind I like. I just wanted to show it off real quick. In Memphis, I only really stopped to do one thing, was just check out Beale Street, a downtown street with a ton of bars and fun spots on it. It was cool. I walked around for a while and decided to eat real quick at one of the spots. I had some pulled pork. It was nice. A good capper for my time in Tennessee. But it was time to hop over the Mississippi River into Arkansas.